Hey everyone, it's James from FunFoods, and today I'm going to show you how to make this giant Samoa Girl Scout cookie. Now this is massive, and just to show you in comparison on size, this is the giant one, this is the regular size one. So keep watching and I'll show you step by step how to make this. Before we start making this recipe, look below this video at that subscribe button. If it's red, all you have to do is click on it and it'll turn it gray. Also, if you enjoy what I do here, be sure to hit that like button because I really want to get to 200 likes on this video. Now back to the recipe. So in a large bowl, we're going to start off with 2 sticks of butter that's softened at room temperature. Add to that half a cup of sugar, and then just cream these together. Now once your butter and sugar has been creamed together, just take this, set this aside. We're going to bring in a medium bowl here, and in here I have 2 cups of flour. Next I'm going to add half of a teaspoon of baking powder, also a dash of salt, and we're going to whisk this up. Now we're going to bring back our wet ingredients, which is our butter and sugar, and we're going to slowly add in our dry ingredients to that. I'm going to do about half at a time. We also need to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 2 tablespoons of milk. So after it starts to get pretty hard, this is a very dry mixture, so it gets pretty difficult to mix with an actual mixer. So we are going to knead the rest of this with our hands. Now I just have some plastic wrap here. I'm going to turn our dough out onto that wrap. So just flatten this down. We're going to end up putting this in the refrigerator just for a little bit, about 10 minutes or so. Into the refrigerator it goes. Alright, so I'm pulling my dough out of the refrigerator. It should have firmed up a bit, and that's what we want. Next, what I'm going to do is I want to make our Samoa cookie as big as possible. And the biggest pan I have is this giant pizza pan. And it's quite large. We're going to use that. So we want to roll our dough out, and I'm going to kind of form the outer ring first. So I'm going to unwrap this. I have some parchment paper down here. Just going to turn this out onto it. And again, it's a very dry dough, so don't be alarmed if you think it might be too dry. Kind of work it in, knead it a little bit. Now I can already tell that this is not going to be enough dough to fill around this whole thing, so I have to double the size of my recipe. So I'm just going to make another batch and we're going to lay it out. Alright, so I made another batch of the shortbread cookie, and I am going to join it together with this first batch. I did leave it in the refrigerator a little bit too long, and so it's hardened up a lot, but that's okay. We can just work with it. I'm going to put it all on here, and we're just going to knead all of it together. Of course, if you leave it in the refrigerator too long like I did, you can just let it sit out until it gets more closer to room temperature, and then it'll be easier to knead. Alright, so I've kneaded it pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is roll it out. I'm going to roll it out just like this. I'm not going to wrap it around the pizza pan like I did before, and hopefully we can get it as big as possible. I am going to put some more parchment paper over top of it. This way I don't have to use flour and it won't stick to my roller. So we're going to roll it, and I want to roll it to be about between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch thick. That's pretty thick, thicker than normal cookies, but this is going to be a giant Samoa, so it has to be quite thick. So I'm going to transfer it to this. Now to clean up around the edges, I want it to be nice and perfect around the edges, so I'm just going to kind of take my hand and work it for right now. And I'm going to trim it just one more time just to make sure we're nice and perfect. And for the hole in the middle, I'm just going to use this to trace around. Now just take this, we're going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees, and I'm going to guess it's going to take between 12 and 15 minutes, but I'm going to check it after 10 minutes. So all in all, it took about 32 minutes for this to cook, and now I'm going to let it cool completely before we move on to the next step. So while we're letting our shortbread cool, what I'm going to do is I have a baking sheet right here with a silicone mat. You can use parchment paper if you'd like. I have a 14-ounce bag of the sweetened coconut flakes. Just going to open this up. Now our oven is already at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're going to just spread these coconut flakes out on this baking sheet. Now we're going to toast these, and we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're going to toss them with a spatula. So after about 15 minutes in the oven, I stirred them every 5 minutes or so. This is what you have, these nice, beautiful toasted coconuts. And if you made too much, don't worry, save them, put them on top of some ice cream because they're amazing that way. Or just eat them like this. Now we're gonna let these cool down completely, and we're gonna move on to the next step. Now I have some chocolate here that I heated up in a double boiler. You can use a microwave, whatever way you like. I'm not gonna use all of it, but I'm gonna use a lot of it, and we're gonna cover this. This is actually gonna be the bottom of our cookie. And you can see my cookie kind of split a little bit, but that's okay. So we're gonna let this chocolate harden up just as it is, and then we'll flip it back over onto our serving dish and then prepare the rest of our Samoa. Next, I have 22 ounces of these caramels, and you can get them in a package similar to this. Don't have to use this brand, or you can make your very own caramels. It doesn't matter. So I have it in a microwave safe dish, and I have 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk. I'm gonna pour over top of this. Stick it in the microwave. We want to melt them 30 seconds at a time, stirring in between until they have completely melted. So I melted the caramel down. Now what we need to do is we're going to take some of our toasted coconut and just put it inside there. And let's mix this up with the caramel. Probably going to use about half of this baking sheet of coconut just in here. So now we're bringing back the finished shortbread that's covered in chocolate, and I'm going to flip it over because this is going to be the bottom part. I have some more of this parchment paper here, and I'm going to take that and put it on there first just to help prevent it from cracking even more. Flip it over. Hopefully it turned out all right. There we go. So now we're going to take our caramel and our toasted coconut that we put on there and just cover this with it. Now I've melted down some more chocolate. This is so we can drizzle across just like a real Samoa. Now I'm going to try to make the lines nice and thick. That's it. That's our giant Samoa Girl Scout cookie. Well, now it's time for the taste test. I'm going to bite into one of the small ones I made. I did make this myself. It's the same process as I made the big one, but I want to bite into this and see how good it tastes. It's good. The shortbread's kind of crumbling, but the taste is there. It's really good. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this giant Samoa Girl Scout cookie. Now this is a massive Girl Scout cookie, and I do suggest you cut it up like a cake and serve it. If you just try to bite it, it's kind of big and awkward, let's say. So it is a lot of fun making this. So I hope you get a chance to make one for yourself, especially if you have a whole family who loves Samoas, and now you can just serve them up. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please hit that like button. Also hit that big red subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to get new videos all the time. And for right now, check out some of the videos I have off to the side. I think you may enjoy those as well. And until then, I'll see you next time. And for the hole in the middle, I'm going to use this because it's just the perfect shot. Now we're bringing back our finished, what's it called? I can't think.